What, from the horse?
Right.
You were the next together.
Good vacation, Dick?
Oh, great. I did it.
How long were you down there? 5 weeks? 6 weeks?
4
4?
months.
Because you missed that chamber dinner.
Yeah, I did. I left the night before.
I kind of figured because Jolene says and I says, I'll bet you he's headed south.
Yeah, I left the night before. Yeah, that was really a nice one. Good relaxation.
Good.
Nice time. Got my grandkids came down. My daughter.
Oh, yeah, Stacy was down there.
Stacy was
Yeah, because
down.
Jolene said Stacy.
Yeah. They came down last week.
When you did.
Call Lamar City Council regular meeting to order Tuesday, March 4th at 12 p.m. Could we have a roll call, Bev?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion to approve the
Was you-
agenda?
Second.
Motion been made and approved to, motion made and second to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
At this time, could we all join and pledge allegiance to the flag, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Just take a couple.
Well, I'd like to welcome everybody in the council chamber here today, and particularly you people that are watching over television, each council meeting, we welcome you to it. And our Lamar's Daily Sentinel representative is here today. The first thing on the agenda today is a hearing, and it's on the budget. And I will share with you, at its February 18th, 2014 meeting, the council accepted the proposed fiscal year 2014-15 budget with a mill levy of $13.50 and established this the date and time to a public hearing comment regarding the said budget. The required notice has been published. At this time, I'm going to open the meeting and ask for any, or open the hearing and ask for any written or oral objections from anyone out there or the comments that they may have on the budget. I'll ask once again if there's any hearing or any comments or written or oral objections at this time. If none, the hearing is closed. The administration recommends that the council approve with or without an amendment, as we were required to submit the budget, the approved budget to the state by March 15th, so this would be the last meeting. I would entertain a motion unless there's some,
Motion adopting resolution number 14-6, adopting the annual budget for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2015.
Second to the motion?
motion been made and second. Adopting the resolution number 14-6, adopting the annual budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2015. Can we have a roll call on that, Bev?
Yes.
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 Motion passed. Okay, we'll go on to the general discussion. And before I get into the general discussion, I would like to ask Neil Adler to step to the podium, please. Neil had shared with me this morning that Lamar's has won another award from the state area, the state of Iowa. So, Neil, would you like to explain that?
Well, yeah, that's not totally correct. Yesterday, I attended the Siouxland Industrial Roundtable in Sioux City, and I'm sure that most of you probably have heard by now that the Sioux City metropolitan area received the #1 ranking again this year from Site Selection Magazine, which is put out to over 49,000 site selectors and CEOs in the country. And they ranked the different communities in different categories. Sioux City Metro sits in the category of a population of 50,000 to 200,000. And the reason that's significant to us is that if you recall, last year, the federal government put us in the same MSA as Sioux City. So that means that our projects this past year were delivered down to Sioux City and were part of their presentation for this past year. So we had several projects that were included in that total number. So something to be proud of and feel good about. And Dick, I think, has the award there. So Sergeant Bluff, South Sioux City, Lamar's, and Sioux City were the communities that received these similar awards.
Thank you, Neil.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody who wants to see the award is sitting right up here in the front after the meeting. Okay, moving on, Lamar's Art Council has got some comments that they'd like to share with us on a general discussion.
Hi, I'm Jean Weiner. I serve as the Vice President on the Board of Directors of Lamar's Arts Council. And this is Judy Marino. She's our brand spanking new administrator at the Lamar's Arts Council. And we've put forward a request in writing to council members here for consideration. We are in the process of updating the main gallery space of the Arts Council. And one of the reasons being is that we're very happy to announce that come this fall, September, October, the Arts Center will be a stopping point, a venue for the traveling exhibition put on by the National Watercolor Society. And they're out of California. It's a big organization, and these are going to be really quality water media work. So we're very excited about that. You know, we've put together some bids and some averages for those. The letter explains that we're putting together a grant for the Plymouth County Lost. We have a personal donation of $3,000, and we have some Arts Council funds too that can go toward the project. But in looking at our main floor gallery space, we would just like to do some updating. We'd like to repair some holes on the walls, put some fresh paint on, spruce everything up nicely. And, you know, any of you that have been following the progress of the Arts Council of late, we've really put some sweat equity in over there. We've had, you know, changes happening, and we've had a lot of organization. If you've, you know, been through, the lower level looks entirely updated and cleaned up and organized. And we're just really proud. And continuing to do these things will just help us to draw additional quality exhibits and programming, and help us to give offerings here for quality of life in the community. So I did want to make one note. We've had an additional bid on the rework, the refinishing of the original hardwood floors. The bid average was at $13,000. We've received another bid from somebody very reputable and recommended that comes in at $5,400. So our total price for the refurbishment is down by almost an additional $8,000, comes in just over $16,000. With the personal donation, private donation of $3,000, you know, we're looking to raise $13,000 to do everything that we'd like to do by September, October for this big exhibit. So, and it will allow us to just continue to draw quality, you know, exhibits that will draw folks from out of town. So we feel it'll be a win-win. But, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions for the Art Center?
Yeah, the new director has to say something.
Well, I think that, you know, the National Watercolor Society is not just a state show, it's a national show, and it's going to draw people in from the area, from Omaha, Sioux Falls, Des Moines, et cetera. And so this will be their first impression, possibly, for the Lamar's Art Center. It's the first time they've ever been to the community. So I'd really like to have the facility looking its best.
I noticed on that, there's only, Lamar's is one of 6 towns across the United States
Correct.
on this.
That's correct. That's correct.
quite an honor.
You know, one of the things that the gentleman that's in charge of the traveling exhibition for the National Watercolor Society, one of the things that impressed him, and this, you know, we can feel good about, is the fact that the Art Center is housed in a building, you know, a Carnegie Library of Historic Registry. So he loved that, you know. So sight unseen, they're willing to let the show come here. You know, we have to incur costs in shipping to get the art. We'll incur costs to do some advertising to reach the metropolitan areas to let them know it'll be here. And we can purchase catalogs and resell them to the public, for a little bit of profit if we'd like. But so we'll have some costs, incurred, but it's a really good thing. We're excited about it. So, okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Uh-huh.
I should have mentioned that in the general, or open discussion or general discussion, that the council cannot make any decisions, but they're always willing to listen to
Thank
what you
you.
have to offer, and so they can make any decisions.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else out there that has general discussion? If not, we'll move on to the citizens. John?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Clark?
Nothing, sir.
Delana?
Nothing.
Rex?
Yeah, obviously this is an easy one. The Galen Catholic boys had a wonderful season. They packed the gymnasium. That's the first time the new gymnasium at Lamar's has been totally full. The result wasn't what anybody wanted in town, but still, wonderful season. They brought a lot of people to the gyms, and they had a lot of enjoyment for a lot of people, so hats off.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, moving on to the consent items. All items listed on the consent agenda will be enacted by one motion. There'll be no separate discussion on those items unless a request is made prior to the time the council votes on the motion. Today, we have 9 of them. The first one is the approval of February 18th, 2014 regular meeting minutes. Number 2 is a list of bills for the period ending 2028, or February 28th, 2014. Number 3 is the issuance of a new beer permit, Kimes Country Store. And I want to point out to the council members, there is a typographical error in your packet on the D3. It says liquor, and it should be beer permit. So if you'd correct that, we'd appreciate it. Number 4 is a new cigarette permit by Kimes Lamar's Country Store. Number 5 is a fireworks contract. Number 6 is a community egg hunt, Easter egg hunt. Number 7 is an urban revitalization tax exemption request. And number 8 is a 2014 golf course fees. Number 9 is the Lamar's Main Street program, the resolution of support. I might ask if any of your council members has any questions on any of these 9 that you want to set aside and ask questions on.
I just have a real quick question on the Easter egg hunt. First, thank you, John, for taking that
Yes.
over. And second, did you have anything you wanted to add besides what's in your letter? Okay. The kids love that event, so
Yes,
I
they
want
do.
to thank John McGregor for taking that on.
At this time, we don't have any changes to, other than what we drafted in the letter to the city council, just the using of the Cleveland Park area for the Easter egg hunt on Saturday, April 19th. And if anybody's out there watching and wants to be involved in the sponsorship of it, you can let us know too.
See, I knew you could get a plug
So
in.
there'll be something there.
And
Thanks,
John,
John.
John, isn't that going to be at Cleveland Park this year?
Yeah.
Yes, it'll be at Cleveland Park, and it'll be for ages 2 through first grade.
Okay.
So kids that are currently completed first grade or going into first grade, as well as from age 2 up. And then we'll have designated areas for those children to be hunt safely, so there's not the older kids trampling the little kids out there. And we'll have advertisements and stuff going home with all the kids and all the schools and daycares and preschools and stuff around town, so they'll know all about it. So.
Thanks a lot, John.
Thank
Great asset to the community.
good luck.
Taking that on.
Motion to approve consent items 1 through 9 with a note on number 3 is changing from liquor to beer.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second to approve the consent items 1 through 9 with the change in the states from liquor to beer. All those in favor say aye.
I think we need a roll
Oh, I
call.
need a roll call on that, Bev. Sorry. about
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Motion passed. Okay, moving on to action items under E, E1. If I can find it. Funding recommendation for the CVB Advisory Board. At its February 18th, 2014 meeting, the council acknowledged receipt of the Convention and Visitors Bureau Advisory Board's recommendations for fiscal year 15 project funding and tabled action at this meeting to allow a citizen input. As a preparation of the agenda, no comments have been received. Is there any public input that anybody would like to make at this time?
Ask Jessica to come up and talk about
And
it.
Jessica, would you want to come up and share with us? Mrs. Brown Miller, by the way.
That's right.
I know, I'm still getting used to that. Obviously, you've got our packet and our letter and everything like that. I personally did not receive any phone calls this year. Typically, we do get a couple of them. It was actually fairly simple round this year. We didn't have quite as many applications as we normally did. And the group itself was in general consensus within about an hour and a half. So it was very good, quick, no problems or concerns with any of the people on the advisory board. So we
did
hope
have
that you approve them.
100% show up, too.
Yes, and they all came.
100% of the board shows up. So,
That's good. You people do a great job on
Good
that.
group of
That's-
people.
That's not an easy, position in picking and choosing, but I think this Convention and Visitors Bureau has made some real progress over the last 6 years since we indoctrinated that and started it. It's a working program. Thank you, Jesse. I entertain a motion.
Motion approving the Convention and Visitor Bureau Advisory Board's recommendations for FY15 project funding in the amount of $35,000.
Second.
Motion made and second, approving Convention and Visitors Bureau Advisory Board's recommendations for the fiscal year 15 project funding in the amount of $35,000. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to E2, and this is the Public Works Building. The Wilchin Brothers Incorporated has been hired to perform the construction management services for the new Public Works Building. Administration negotiated a construction management fee of 5% of construction costs. Other consultants to be hired for their respective services include PSS Incorporated for the construction of staking, and that'll be on an hourly basis, and the CTS for the construction testing, and that'll be on an hourly basis. The recommended schedule is the council set a public hearing on March 4th, which is today, and we need to set the hearing. Public Works Committee received building types and bids on March 11th. The Public Works staff conduct pre-bid meetings on March 13th, and the council to hold a public hearing and select building type and bid on March 18th. The Public Works staff receive a concrete bid, which would be on March 26th. The Public Works Committee receive an M&E type and bids on March 27th, 2014, and the council select an M&E and concrete bids by April 1st, 2014. The work that has been previously done out there so far includes the site layout, the building layout and sizing, the earthwork and grading to the proposed elevation of buildings, the stormwater detention placed in the northeast corner of the site, the stormwater extended into the site. Utilities are currently adjacent to the site within the street right-of-way. Construction manager has solicited pre-engineered building types from 8 different companies and is ready to invite 3 firms to present their proposals to the Public Works Committee for selection and recommendation to the council in accordance with the recommended schedule. The administration recommends the council, number 1A, to approve a construction management of 5% of the construction costs, and B, approve conducting a public hearing on the project on March 18th, 2014 at 12 p.m. The financial impact of the building would be the source of the funding for this project has been approved as the Mars Urban Renewal or the TIF revenue. Any questions in regard to the Public Works Building to allow us to move on to get this plan going.
Yeah, and Scott's not here, but I was surprised to see pre-engineered building. I thought we were planning on at least a portion of it being block or some concrete structure.
Steve, are you aware of that? Can you help us on that?
Has that changed since talking to the construction manager?
I do not know what Ryan has for bids in, and, I mean, it's up to the people that bid this project. We were looking at a square footage and a design as far as height and that type of thing. I can't answer that, I guess, until we open the bids and see what they've got.
But I guess if it says specifically pre-engineered building type, to me, that's frame with metal.
Well, yeah, it could be anything. A lot of buildings are pre-engineered. Your steel buildings are pre-engineered, or can
Okay.
be stamped with them. Your wood buildings can be, concrete buildings.
Concrete can be considered
Yes,
pre-engineered?
yes, yeah.
Okay,
And what that means is they have an engineer on site that does all the drawing on it and stuff, which makes sure we're getting what we want, I guess,
Okay.
is what it amounts to, so.
Because is that the plan, to have at least the bay areas where the trucks are parked be concrete?
We hadn't looked into that yet.
Okay.
At this point, we're kind of open. We want to see what the bids come in at and make a decision from there.
I guess I kind of understood, Delana, that it would be whatever that particular firm recommends, and we were going to select a package.
Right.
Okay.
So until we go through the bid process and see what we got, we don't have any idea.
Jason's got 2
Oh,
cents.
come on, buddy, you got some.
That'd be, pre-engineered and pre-built are two different things.
Okay, so that's where my confusion is coming in.
Pre-engineered would mean that they probably already have plans already done for a building of this type.
Okay,
Thank you, Jason.
all right.
Thank you, Steve. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, so basically we wait and see.
Yeah.
Well, and we've got 2 meetings
Got several
scheduled.
committee meetings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the one, we're going to look at the original 3 bids, I think, and then we got a later meeting with the contractors after we look at those and try to ask them and play 20 questions with them before we get to this April. First day.
First day.
So there'll be at least 2 committee meetings, possibly more.
Well, my 2 cents, I like concrete and steel way better than wood and tin.
We just, but if one's
I don't
twice as
care if it's
expensive
cheaper.
as the other, then we got to decide how stable is it.
But how long is it gonna last,
And
too?
and somebody's got to, yeah,
You don't build for 3 years down the road, hopefully you build for 30.
and that's what we got to figure out. But we don't have any of the bids right now. The
Okay.
idea was to sit this, but like I said, and Jason was exactly right. The idea is that the engineering cost, the architectural cost is inside the package deal, so that we don't have to go find a firm and
And
spend another 10%.
Especially save a
on it.
lot of money on that, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the idea.
got it.
And they should make their best recommended building type.
Right away.
Right.
And then they're going to be right out of the gate. And then, but this is also a city project, not state, not federal, so we can choose anybody we want to, and we can have any reason we want to.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we can,
Yeah.
right? I mean, as long as we have a reason, then it's okay. And Joe's going to keep us out of trouble.
Yeah.
But we got to have a reason
Yeah.
to do things if there's different sizes of bids, but there can be, because there are going to be different types of materials.
I
So,
might add, it's taken us 5 years to get to where we're at today, so we're ready to start.
Okay.
Any other questions from anybody?
Cost is key, but usage is essential,
Oh,
so,
absolutely.
you know,
I'm hoping-
we pay more for better and longer.
Yeah,
And
I'm
I'm
hoping,
all, yeah.
I'm hoping we got qualified people, though, that, that's involved in this, that answers your question on that, Clark.
You bet, you bet.
Okay, I entertain a motion.
motion approving 5% construction management fee to Wilson Brothers, Inc. for the Public Works Building Project.
Is there a second?
So moved.
Motion made and second approving a 5% construction management fee to Wilson Brothers, Inc. for the Public Works Building Project. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Motion establishing March 18th, 2014 at 12 p.m. as a public hearing on the Public Works Building and date and time to select the building type.
Is there a second?
So moved.
Motion made and second establishing the March 18th, 2014 at 12 p.m. as a public hearing for the Public Works Building and the date to select the building type. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, moving on to discussion. John?
Your Honor, on the 18th of March, we have a hearing scheduled for the proposed changes in ordinances. Have a lot of people comment they cannot make it to a meeting at noon. I would like to request city staff to also have a meeting scheduled for some night at 7 o'clock before we make a decision on this, to get input on any of the particular ordinances that somebody would like to comment on.
Good idea.
Everybody in favor of that? Absolutely. So we'll pick the date, or the hearing's on the 19th, or the 18th.
Right, and I'd like to have staff make a recommendation on when we would have an open meeting at 7 o'clock.
Prior to that or that night?
No, it'd have to be, it could be after that.
It could be after that. We're just not going to make a
Just before
decision
we
at that
vote.
March 18
Oh, okay,
meeting.
all right, okay. Okay, everybody's in agreement on that?
Absolutely.
There's a couple topics there that are pretty important to this
Yes,
city.
yes.
And so we need to get city input from everybody on this. So that's a good idea, John. What else?
That's it.
Clark?
Actually, just ditto what he said, absolutely. I brought it up 2 weeks ago that I think we needed an evening hearing on that, and I 100% in favor of that. So the only other thing that I've got is during budget and some of the committee meetings I've been in on, there was 2 items that were brought up that I'd really like the city to start looking into. One was a reward system for vandalism. I was told at the time that we have a reward system for vandalism, but I didn't know about it. So it must not be very well advertised. And I don't think we have a big issue with vandalism, but I'd like to see some sort of a sign system that the city would start to look at, and if we could alleviate a lot of the public works fixing and works and for vandalism, and if we could reward those who would maybe report it, we could maybe nip it on the front side. But basically, that's it. That's about all I got. Just something to be thinking about.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you. Delana?
Nothing to add.
Rex?
No, good.
Nothing to,
Okay, moving on. Scott is out of town today. Bill?
I don't have anything additional that I got. Got a couple of department head reports.
Yeah, we got a couple of department head reports. The first one is water, wastewater. Ron? You want to share with us what you're all doing out there? How's the new project coming?
Wonderful.
Good.
It's a little behind. Weather hasn't helped the plant or our construction much, but, well, proceed on. A lot of pictures are the same. Just looking at the wastewater inflow and flow, we gained a little bit this year, not a lot. We went up from 646 million gallons up to 657. The CBOD removal, we're still at 99% removal. We went up on that a little bit on our pounds. Went up, not a lot, a little over 4 million. Ammonias, we've been getting a little stronger strength this year, and the weather didn't cooperate with us totally. We're at a 72% removal, but we had a lot more of it, so we're still looking really good on that. We're well within our limits. The TSS removal, still at 97%. That went up a little bit too. I think it's a good time that we're building the new plant, because I think we're reaching right at the end of what our existing plant can do. So I think it's good time. Back to the flow breakdown on what we have in Lamar's. Still, the city and small business in town are 56% of the flow and loading at the plant. Wells Dairy is, or Wells Corporate is 32, and Dean's is 12. And move on to the biosolids. We generated a little less this year, 10,524,000. We land applied a little bit more than that, probably had a little left over in the lagoons. It depends on how we do it. It's coming up a little later in this report too, but the mayor had brought up something that we investigated on marketing our sludge, and that's been successful. From now on, we're selling everything we got. It'll take some time before it comes to everything we want it to come to, but I like the way it's going. I think it definitely dropped our costs for our application fees. Wells, North Plant and South Plant, they had the flow about 209 million this year. That's up a little bit, not a lot. They're up kind of across the board on everything. For the CBOD, they went up to a little bit, and TSS went up significantly, total suspended solids, but we were expecting that. This next year, we're expecting more. Bean Foods, kind of almost the same. They went up a little bit all across the board, except for one thing on the TSS received. Combined totals are the same story. It's just in addition to what we were talking about. A little higher across the board with everything. I want to point out that the companies are really still very good to work with. They bend over backwards to help us out wherever they can. It's really nice working with people.
Good.
Collection system. It's broke, same as every year. We're broke down in 4 sections. We clean a different section every year. Section 3 was cleaned this year. We do it in the fall. It seems to work better for us in the fall than the spring. The weather and everything works out much better for us. The city did a new sewer line on 27th Street this year, and in the KNS addition, I think that was independent, but that's another line that we're going to take over eventually. We have 10 lift stations throughout the city that we keep running, rebuild, and do our best to keep working all the time so we don't have a problem. We've had really good cooperation with the citizens when we discover a sump pump violation. Everybody's been real good. When I send them a letter, they get it fixed and get back to me. We take pictures of it, we document it. So it's working out well. The spring flooding caused us a little bit of fun with that new line out through the golf course. Got a bunch of mud through the line. Worked with Bill and FEMA, and a lot of that cost was, I'd have to ask Bill how much of the cost for sure was covered. Getting all that stuff cleaned up, they helped us out with that. So.
Good.
Baseball fields were flooding in that same time. John called me at the time, so we brought out all the pumps we had to keep that dewatered for them. That worked out really well. Already talked about FEMA. Sewer calls, actual sewer calls that we had to go out on, 21 that we had called in. 8 were only 8 of them were city issues. Other than that, so that means our yearly cleaning is working. We're staying ahead of it. We actually do trouble lines, ones that we know cause us more problems at one time than another. So we put it on a shorter time frame, and our guys go out and clean it. I have some we clean once a month, others once a year, others once every 2 years, you know. We're still working with Jim Conley on the GPS, new GPS maps. That's going really good. Move on to improvements. This was what I was talking about with the sludge. Worked that with Yoakum Agri-Services, and he's helping us market the sludge. He's doing a really good job on that. He knows all those farmers, and they trust him, you know, and he does a good job. So it was a natural fit. He's done a lot of legwork on that. I have to hand it to him. Working with contractors and landowners on the new wastewater facility west of town. Underground piping, it's been an interesting year so far, that's for sure, to get all that working, or not completely done, but we're working on it. We did some rehab at the existing plant with the fine screen. It's a pretty big piece of equipment. We had to get a crane in, lift it out, and redo it. That worked well. The computer program, they're working on it as we speak. it's kind of in cooperation with City Hall and everything. We've got the new system in the basement of the fire station that's going to back everything up. Don't have to stay awake at night wondering if you lost anything anymore, which is going to be really nice. The new internet's going to be nice. I can actually send stuff off to engineers and DNR and not have to leave and come back an hour later to see if it's sent. That's nice. Just other stuff was just small stuff out there. We did a lot, my own guys did some cement work, we hired some down. Worked on the existing buildings, just trying to maintain them, keep them in tip-top shape. They look good. This year we had to replace that methane boiler. That was part of the upgrade, we had that included in that. But that thing, like I said, it pays for itself over time. It's a maintenance headache, but the payback is really good on it.
When did we buy that?
That was in the last upgrade. I want to say it's probably 7 to 8 years old. The natural gas boiler's still in good shape, but the one next to it, that methane, that's pretty corrosive stuff. But it's coming off the digesters for free for us, so it's a good deal. At the time I drew this up, we had ordered the new Bobcat for the new plant. I thought it would take much longer to get it, but it's already here. So it's sitting out in the shed ready to use. So that's all I have. If anybody's got any questions.
Ron, what kind of problems would you expect regarding freeze thaw, similar to the water? Are your lines basically deep enough that?
I think we're deep enough everywhere. I don't think we're going to have the problems that they have. All new stuff, and they're going to have pretty decent temperature water going through them all the time, So hopefully we're good.
Okay.
I'd be more worried about the lines coming back from the new plant back to the existing, because then it would be through the whole process, Normally we go through one process and we go into the river with it. But like I said, now we'll be going through that system and coming back to this one.
How's is the progress coming along pretty decent on the new plant, Ron? I mean, I know we're
I think
we're a little bit behind because of the weather, and very much so, but
we're going to be obviously late. There's some things that just aren't coming the way they were expecting. Weather kind of bit them behind a little bit. Some of the electronic parts that they were expecting, they have really not a lot of control over that. They order them and they make them when they can, and some panels are being made in the United States, some in Mexico, and all that stuff has to tie together when it comes. That's through a major corporation, Rockwell, and I know we're off till the middle of March before some of those are even supposed to ship. The building is coming along really, really well. Rice Lake they're an excellent company to work with. They're getting the building done. They're doing a really nice job. The dirt crews have got just about everything in. They're waiting on a few bores, and in the spring they got to go and clean up, obviously, the mess they had to make this winter. With the frozen ground, it didn't leave for a nice way to leave everything.
have we got a lot more pipes to put in?
Not really. The
We're
piping
getting-
is,
Piping
we've
getting
got,
on the end of that?
getting close to the end of that. We're
Are we
waiting
under
on
the bypass
bores
yet?
and, excuse me?
Did we get through under the bypass yet?
No. I think the weather turned on them again. That's a company out of Ankeny that's subbed under the main contractor that got the dirt work. It's been interesting.
Okay. Any questions for Ron? Thanks a lot, Ron.
You bet.
Keep up the
Thanks.
good work. Hey, the next report is public facilities. Brad Epling.
Well, mine's very short.
It always is.
Yeah, it's better that way. All right. Basically, between the flood and the 29-hour work week for our part-time help, it was a pretty busy year for us. We did fall behind a little bit with our regular maintenance, but by the end of the season, we caught back up to where we needed to be. We have a pretty good group of employees, both full-time and part-time, that stepped up to the plate when we needed them to accomplish all this work this last spring. But we can definitely do without any more floods or 29-hour work weeks for our part-time. That being said, our department didn't have a lot of time for extra in-kind projects, but we did get a few things accomplished. We were able to do a lot of repair and remodel jobs of city-owned buildings. We did some work on the walk trail plazas, some concrete grading and seeding work at the golf course. Basically, most of our time was spent cleaning up the flood, repairing the golf course waterways, and cleaning up debris and planting trees that got taken out by the flood. But we had 49 burials last year. 14 of them were ash burials, 23 at Rest Haven and 26 at Memorial, and 1 in the Veterans section. We received a couple grants last year through Paint Iowa Beautiful and one from Kaboom for playground maintenance grant. And, basically, in the upcoming season, we're going to look for more grants and try to accomplish a number of things that's on our to-do list, and look forward to getting new CBP money to accomplish some of these projects. That's about all I had.
Okay. Any questions for Brad?
Brad, what's the total acres that you mow roughly?
With the new wastewater, it's going to be 424 acres we take care of.
Okay.
How many miles we have snow to plow?
Too many.
Good answer.
74.
74, yeah. Well, these people do a very good job, both in the Public Works Department overall, both in Brad's area and also in Steve's area. And I remember back about 6-8 years ago, there was 64 total employees for the city, and I think we're at about 55 right now. And at that time, why people were wondering whether to, they didn't want to, on this hand, they didn't want to pay any more for services, but on this hand, they didn't want any services less either.
Right.
But these people have stepped up to the plate over the years and have done a tremendous job for us, I think, in the city, of keeping up with things and making our city look nice. I get a lot of compliments from outsiders, how nice Mars looks when they enter the city, so that's a pretty good barometer right there. Keep up the good work.
Okay.
Thanks, Brad.
Okay, Bill, you have anything else? No. Okay. If not, I'd